this Tiny was, is this their mid hero? Is this an attempted solution at drawing against TA? Because Tiny with the tree grab has really high base damage and can maybe contest the CS that they're looking for.
He does, but I just think that's so. I think that's so risky.
I don't know. All right, it's going to be.
That's much better. All right, TA Storm and AM. This is man. I'm telling you, the way Alliance play AM is much faster tempo. I would have liked to see a slightly higher
game. If
he
I'm honest
is tiny. Most of the time, he can survive through tiny burst.
I remember when I saw something with Wings or whatever, and they were talking about the Stormshare versus Anti-Mage matchup. Or I can't remember, I asked about it or something like that, and they felt like it was like an 80-20 matchup, which is like really high in Dota. That means like 80% of the time, and considering how many Dota games you play and stuff like that. Because the problem with the matchup is that as Stormshare, you want to do the long zip in to get the damage in, right?
Yep.
And it's very easy for Anti-Mage to simply just ult you. And that'll happen at any point in the game. Like, you can kill Anti-Mage 3 times as Storm, but at some point, this guy is going to last second ult you. You're going to kill yourself and potentially a teammate. And all of a sudden, especially, it's even better now than it used to be because of the comeback streak. It's not the anti-mage that'll get kills in the laning phase. It's the Storm.
Right.
So the Storm will have built up this like 700 gold streak, and this anti-mage will get all of it. And it feels unfair at that point because then he grabs a Manta, and no item that you get like hard counters him. And he can always, the counterspell made him even better. This was before the counterspell entered the game.
Yeah. So the onus is definitely going to be on SIRIUS to be able to take control of the game and never screw up.
Yeah,
they can't have that big mess up. They can't afford it. They'll be way too stalled out against an AM, especially since Alliance, this is something the panel brought up, and it's probably a bit of a concern. This is a greedier lineup. If they had a faster-paced, like, tempo mid, then they could feel a lot better about their AM's chances. But this is an AM TA. This is going to be a greedier lineup. It's definitely going to be a lineup that's going to win late game, but could get overrun in the mid game. And all this is going to start for SIRIUS coming down to a strong laning phase, being able to win that mid matchup of Stormspirit versus TA, and then also be able to win this top lane, which is the Darkseer dual lane.
Yeah, you have to win your lanes and then snowball as fast as you can. And what'll end up happening is, like, the Storm versus TA matchup is okay for both sides. Like, TA farms jungle, you get runes and just gank the side lanes on stop. But the actual lane is, like, fine for Storm nowadays, I think.
ASD does get blocked in by the Fissure. Koifa doesn't really make it his priority to try and chase it down, instead controlling the CS game, which I'm guessing is how you win this matchup of TA versus Storm.
Yeah. I mean, Storm, both of them just farm. I was talking to Cinderin about it, and I think he told me it was like a 60-40 matchup, and I'm sort of
double ion shell on top of Grimstroke. That's going to be your first blood. Firefly is the one to pick it up. But you were saying about the mid matchup?
Oh, I sort of agree. I think it is like 60-40-ish.
60-40 to the favor of
TA. Like, I do think it is slightly Storm disadvantage, but it's not so bad that it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw as well. I love referencing that Birmingham because it was the last like ultra tier 1 tournament that we saw, right? And oh, bottom lane.
Jianming is in trouble. Boxy's going to run him down here. The Fissure is going to allow Boxy to get an easier time getting in front of Tianming, trying not to dive to tier 2 too much. Now he does actually die, and that's pretty bad because all these creeps are really low. They're not going to die, so we won't miss out on the experience as long as Taiga's going to be a bro.
Taiga is going to be a bro.
And he's not going to kill the creeps. He's going to pull them all the way back to the Bat Rider, so he will be able to collect all that very critical experience.
Yeah, but in that matchup, it was Sumail versus mid 1, and Sumail solo killed him at level 3, but mid 1 still ended up like doing well in CS. Like, I think he actually just straight up beat him too. So that's sort of the trade-off. Is Insania does get a kill on in July.
That's a bit surprising.
Your failure lives on.
There is a really strong mid-game timing window.
Nice toss back into the range creep. Koifa's going to run the other direction, but his refraction charge is going to run out. But the healing salve may keep him alive against those tower shots. Now his lane, even if he survives here, is going to be pretty heavily ruined. And his toss, he got tossed into the Ancients as well. Firefly body blocking him now. Koifa having used his TP. Even if he survives here, again, his lane is just screwed. He knows he has to go for a neutral creep deny at this point, but Firefly will collect the last hit. Very nicely played.
I really think he should have just died at that point.
Yeah.
and not going for the TP there. It's like you're TPing in the lane with 0 mana, like 45 HP.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a point in that. Just suicide. Let yourself die. Yeah. Because at that point, you've taken away the Storm's XP anyways. And it's fine, right? Like, realistically speaking, you're giving Tiny some gold, but you're getting a free trip back to the fountain.
You would just be able to TP in. You'd be contesting the Storm Spirit for CS right now. Instead, ASD is a free go of it.
Yeah, the Storm's actually having a really, he's having a really good time now as a result of that.
23-4 compared to the 14-6 on Koifa now.
I do think, though, there is a way for SIRIUS to win this game. I just think that their conditions are a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like, they have to play. It's one of those things where, you know, their draft isn't unwinnable. If you're Team SIRIUS, like...
Top lane, Inkswell does go down, but the Ion Shell and Firefly comes in.
Dude, Firefly's beasting it.
Yeah, he really is.
But the way that it works is, like, you just can't mess up.
Yeah.
Your Storm can't die. Very often, anyways.
Fisher block, Taiga trying to body block ASD as much as possible, but ASD can actually turn around and fight him. Part of the reason the mid matchup goes better, right, is okay, we're gonna go on to the AM and kill him.
Dude, Firefly.
Ooh, Firefly, man. I mean, this is, we talked about the overall matchup, and we said that, you know, SIRIUS needs to be able to win the laning phase, and then we said you just can't drop the ball later on. You have to just keep on hitting them, and SIRIUS is certainly fulfilling up that first one, as they're going to be able to pick up Tianming, and Boxy's going to be able to get to low ground here. I don't think Siler's going to be able to get the kill unless Boxy wants to try and go for the Bounty Rune. That might get him killed, but it doesn't. He actually is able to get the bottle charges off. He has the 5-minute shrine available to him. Just very nicely played.
That was very well done. And, I mean, we talked about how SIRIUS had to win the early game, but it's really just this Tiny going around, creating so much space.
He's done a lot of work. He's going to have a fast set of Tranquil Boots. And him having a good game is really going to help SIRIUS a lot, because that's going to be another Infest Bomb target if he can get a Blink Dagger, and that's going to be one of your best ways to be able to hunt down this AM. Especially since you have 2 AoE stuns that you don't have to worry about the counterspell. Taiga.
I could see a situation where this Lifestealer has like a really, really free time, gets online, gets like a Deso and stuff.
Gets like an Abyssal Blade Basher at some
and then
point.
he just like 4-shots the AM in the mid game, and they end the game before anything can happen.
Yeah, the jump in, they already got him low enough, so with this double damage, ASD will pick up that 1 kill. Doesn't use too much of his mana, as Mickey is level 6, so he has to be aware of that mana void already.
And they're going to swap out the lanes so that this Warlock, who's only level 2.
Oh, look at this. With the double damage, he's going to try and contest Boxy. They're baiting the Courier right now. They put the Courier on top of Boxy to keep the vision up and be able to pull him back and allow ASD to collect that kill. Really cool rotation.
Very, very well done. And that's exactly what he needs to do for his team to be able to win. He can't make himself like... Normally when you play Storm, you're technically the one, right? Just because of how this hero operates, but he's really just acting as non-stop ganking, helping his team get some control. Because again, you can't put all your eggs into the Storm basket in this game against the Anti-Mage. And he's doing a very good job of that. He's like, screw it, I'm not going to farm it all. I'm just going to gank non-stop.
This is also a change that we were talking about overall for Storm Spirit, is it seems Storm Spirit are playing a lot more active, a lot more mid-game heavy than the traditional late-game Storm. Inkswell just gets away from it. Firefly will be fine, probably just going to shrine up if they need to.
He's annoying the hell out of him right now.
Yeah. And if he continues to do this, if he can actually take some further control of the jungle, that'll deny Koifa that comeback mechanism. Not the greatest tower taking, though, on the side of SIRIUS. That's got to be a bit of a problem, right? We say, okay, win the laning phase, don't mess up in the mid-game, just keep on getting kills over and over again. But they don't really transition into objectives very quickly.
No, they need Sylar to be able to do that for them.
Yeah.
I would like him not to go for the Radiance build this game.
Yeah.
Just because...
Oh, nice toss away by Firefly. Boy. He is really showing off on this 4 position. Tiny ASD looking to be able to grab Boxy, pull him back before he gets up to that high ground. He can follow one more jump, maybe. He's actually going to be lassoed. He actually read that he's totally out of mana and will be able to get the Fisher. They got the kill. Oh dear, Boxy.
That was a disaster from ASD. And this is what I mean about you can't make mistakes as Storm in this game, and that was a really big one.
Boxy has been doing so much work for Alliance lately. It feels like that him as a 3 position is becoming such a big playmaker for the team. Is returning so much. Mickey thought he was going to be able to go on in July. The top lane actually gets the toss, but fortunately he does have the 2 levels of counter spell, but Insania is just going to get run down instead.
Nice pickup kill for them. They needed something like that, but this is one of the rare situations where I see Alliance have the late game win condition.
Oh, yeah.
Because oftentimes you see Alliance really hit that mid game hard. They're in an all-in position, and then if they mess up execution, they just straight up lose the game.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that story from Alliance and teams like that, like Complexity.
Long jump over. ASD gonna wait out the counter spell. Baits it from Mickey. Does get a lot of damage onto Mickey, but
surprised he didn't continue.
Yeah, the Shadow Word is not going to be enough to take him out here, and so the AM will live. Meanwhile, inside the jungle, Firefly just keeps on doing these invasions and hasn't really been caught by it yet until Koifa plus Insania is able to get that. Plus, they're now going to be able to get that stack that was perhaps a little bit in danger from the Darkseer.
And this should be a kill on the Boxy, though, as the Storm's going to lead the way.
Sylar slows him down with the open wounds, and there is enough mana on ASD to continue this chase.
And ASD thought for a second things were going to go wrong again because he ran out of mana, but does end up netting the kill for himself, but only a 1,000 gold lead at this point. TA and Anti-Major still doing perfectly fine.
Treads into a Soul Ring for the Storm. Gonna go for that fast Kaya for that really big mid-game timing where he just has a ton of damage. And our Midas on the Lifestealer, as we saw online, much faster than normal. He pushes Boxy back during that Firefly timing as he comes in a lane, brings him down to 400 health. SIRIUS are up by 2,000 gold, but feels like they can't actually take over the map just yet. That is allowing the Templar Assassin to continue to farm up these Ancients and such. Firefly's just going to run up there into the high ground, is going to find Koifa. Moves that refraction, has to beware. Oh, he's now going to be silenced. Usually his toss-away play gets him away from that Inkswell, but here he ends up just dying. Now they're going to find the +1 in Tianming, who gets grabbed by Boxy as well. The supports feel like they're just trying to make some plays happen because but the problem is they just don't have the map control. They don't have the towers down to make those kind of plays.
And ASD wasn't coming. In July isn't going to really move off of this lane. And that's just the way that Darkseer plays. He plays like Beastmaster in that regard, where even though you do have teamfight abilities, you don't really want to leave this lane until the tower's gone.
Yeah.
That's why it takes like ASD's movement. Because they actually have a really greedy lineup too on the side of SIRIUS. They have 2 cores that don't want to move around and fight.
Oh, yeah.
Like this Lifestealer with a Midas doesn't want to infest bomb with the Storm Spirit or anything like that.
And you have a 5 position that also doesn't really make plays for you.
Yeah, there's a Deso now on this TA. Like, there's a Deso TA, Anti-Major will hit late game.
Yeah.
If SIRIUS don't get something started soon in the next, like, 4 minutes, I feel like the game should just end.
Yeah.
And this is just, you know, I love Storm Spirit. You know me, I love a good Storm game, but this looks like far from a free Storm game.
Yeah. He is going to go the Radiance on Sylar. What were you hoping for? The Armlet, Deso, and then Basher?
He's going to go for it right now, but I don't think he's going to commit for this on Taiga.
No, Taiga's too tanky.
So they're going to take this top tower. This is important. Like we said, this is how the Darkseer, if you're going to make movements around the map and you want to get him out of this top lane, like Injala is like, okay, I took the top tower now. I can pressure that by just sending Ion Shell creeps in. Now they can rotate towards mid as Boxy's going to get gone on, but Koifa's down here too.
They're going to be able to grab him during that rage time, but the rage is going to wear out. They're going to follow up with the Son of the Inkswell, Fisher, and with that Deso freshly picked up by Koifa. They get the kill on the enemy carry, and Alliance, they can do objectives pretty fast with their Deso build.
They're going to trade out. For SIRIUS right now, they need to put all the pressure in the world. Take all the tier 1 towers. I'd even like it if the Lifestealer just TP'd mid. I know he doesn't have a lot of items, but his rage alone should be enough to be scary.
Yeah, I mean, he can infest inside of ASD, and like they could force some sort of fight if there's a defense from Alliance.
Yeah. There is rock available on the side of SIRIUS, so Alliance might just straight up be dissuaded from taking this fight.
They're coming for it. They're going to try and poke. Firefly should be fine because there's no lasso. In fact, he's going to turn on to the Bat Rider, gets a lot of damage from his combo. Got to be careful though. Now he is actually, they're going to throw out the golem. They're going to go in, manage to grab 2 heroes, but an instant Echo Slam comes out from Taiga. A 14-minute Blink Dagger. ASD's like, what the hell?
He was so
surprised. How does
surprised.
he have that already?
Firefly's going to go back
Nice turn, though. Koifa gets burned out by the double ion shell. He didn't expect that one. Mickey, though, has free reign of this team fight. The Darkseer's totally out of mana. Doesn't actually want to continue to go for him now that Sylar's here. Toss over on the AM Illusion, but Taiga managed to blink away before it lands on him.
And that's going to be the TA traded out for the Warlock Golem and the Storm. The kill lead taken. Mickey didn't want to commit to that fight because of the Darkseer while being down in his own illusion, hitting him and mana burning him. SIRIUS, the upside here is that they do manage to take the tower, which was the greater objective that they went for.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan that they committed. And as predicted, Sylar did make the rotation into mid. It's like, even if you just have a Midas, you can't be that greedy of a carry player. You have to show up for your team and at least accomplish stuff like this, especially when ASD's throwing up his life just so that you can grab this tower.
Shows a strong idea about like the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's like, yes, you have a Midas, and yes, you know, I'd see a lot of club players like in that situation just go hit neutral creeps. It's like, I died. What I learned from that lesson is I should have never left that jungle. But the real play there is, you know, you leave the jungle, you come take that mid tower because you don't really have any other choice.
How am I going to single-handedly win the game if I don't hit my Radiance timing?
There's a secret objective in Dota where if you hit like 250 neutral creeps, you just win.
Double ion shell burnout on Insania as he tries to get a good defensive ward out, but that immediately gets Sentry. Now, they are going to be able to catch the Storm Spirit, but they didn't have just enough disables as Taiga didn't have Echo Slams, so they're missing that 4th critical stun.
Yeah, and Koifa almost has, he does have Blink Dagger. His timing is really quite nice, and Anti-Mage, the clock has now started for Storm Spirit because Anti-Mage is Battle Fury, and you need to do something before he gets the Mantis Style. Like, once he gets the Mantis Style, it's real hard for you to be able to blow him up. The only way you're going to ever be able to do it is with Lifestealer bombs.
Yep. Oh, you know, I like this build from Taiga, the Blink Dagger, and he's going a stat-heavy Veil of Discord after that.
Everyone's getting Veil lately.
And then it'll help out his Bat Rider. It'll even help out the AM because Mana Void is magic damage. And considering what kind of bomb that can turn into against a Storm Spirit, it's not a bad idea to amplify that.
Yeah, I mean, every Storm player hates playing against Anti-Mage, honestly. I used to despise it a lot more before I started casting Pro Dota. I'd say some real harsh stuff. That's real skill, dude. Congrats.
Congrats on hitting your R button.
I played a perfect team fight. I killed half your team, and then you walked in and just like hit one button and I'm dead. But now, I can appreciate the skill that it takes to do that.
He said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Insania is a little separated from his team right now, which was trying to push down that mid-tier 1 tower. Really surprised they didn't further commit for that. Maybe, again, because they know the golem timing.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to avoid fights right now. Why would you take fights if you know that SIRIUS are looking for fights?
Yeah.
What I'd really like is, I would have been okay for Insania to just tank that gank. Like, pull up highlight die, just run in.
Yeah. Give Koifa enough time to finish off that mid-tower.
Yeah.
Everybody runs into the Radiant jungle.
Like, but they're still getting outmaneuvered. I mean, Alliance,
they're really good at that.
Since, like, TI3, they really know how to avoid fights and push to the late game.
Yeah, somehow just... I don't know if the Alliance wrote it into their contract. They're like, you must be able to play this kind of Dota.
Dota's like, you see 5 heroes missing off the map. It's like, you have 2 greedy cores. What do you do? It's like the only answer is like split up and farm. Split up and farm. All of the above.
Insania every once in a while is like, maybe we could fight them? No!
Lotus just stares at him like, fight? Before 20 minutes?
I'm sorry, are you a TI winner?
Oh, I love it. The crazy part is, like, they actually, for the most part, always hit mid-game timings.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they get into, like, these situations where they want to play like this.
11-11. 1,000 net worth lead for SIRIUS, which is really not much to talk about.
Oh, Quite Fun Taiga might go for this, but they're not going to get baited. Everybody from SIRIUS is waiting here, aside from the Lifestealer. And Taiga, he's thinking about it, waiting to see if anybody shows themselves.
Yeah, there's only the Lifestealer showing on the side in mid lane.
They are being so patient. Insania should just tank this.
Yeah.
And the Radiant are going to scan into Roshan, but they thought there was an inkling of that because they're like, why isn't anyone trying to kill ASD? Like,
Yeah.
and now he should know.
They're going to be able to get the lasso before
Where's
the
the
toss
rock?
back. That was beautiful. The Rock's going to be able to come down. Firefly trying to get away. The Echo
The Echo
Slam
in the back.
knocking into the back line. Is only able to finish up one support, though, because Sylar got off the rage. And now with the Fatal Bonds on top of these heroes, Alliance have to jump out. They're going to jump further in. ASD is able to finish up the Templar Assassin. Sees Boxy's low. Oh, but he gets mana voided just like that. He played the fight well, but it wasn't good enough. The Radiant's burning Boxy right now, but Sylar just can't stick on top of him. Neither can the Golem. So he's going to go for the kill onto Taiga instead and will be able to do that. They can't actually fight Sylar. Even with 3 different heroes, where he was way overextended past the tier 2. None of his allies were nearby. They weren't strong enough to fight this Lifestealer.
And because of the buyback, the dieback, in fact, from Taiga, that actually makes it okay for SIRIUS there. That should have been fine for Alliance. You know, you trade 2 for 1 in that situation, but Mickey gets the last hit on the anti-mage.
Especially since he was hitting his timings. Now has the Manta in 20 minutes.
But yeah, you saw the Storm zip in there. He made the correct play, and you know, sadly he died for it.
You gonna break down the skill of how Mickey was able to find that kill, or?
He TP'd in, saw him low, and then ultied him. And then ASD lost all of his HP.
We're gonna see that part of that fight, at least. I think they expected that Echo Slam to do so much more, but really all it did was finish up Firefly, who already kind of made his initiation. And a big misread on whether or not they could actually fight Sylar.
So this is the issue here, is that now Storm has...
Oh, they're actually going to make the jump with the Orchid, but he has the Manta. They're going to try and pull him in with the Avalanche as well as the Vacuum. He's ready to go from in July for that extra bit of hold, trying to delay the disable as long as possible. They chained it really well. Not overlapping too much, and it still wasn't enough, though. The upheaval will be able to slow down any pursuit here as they are going to force Alliance back.
They're just going to trade. Nothing happened. As good disengage from SIRIUS, there wasn't enough damage on the side of Alliance. No TA, no anti-mage. As now SIRIUS, you know, gotta move fast. Storm went Orchid, and I'm actually sort of okay with that. Like, the downside of it is, again, anti-mage has so many different ways to, like, not get hit, but I think the idea is you just have to kill everybody else and just hope that the rest of your team has enough lockdown for this guy. Especially
since, like, the 2 supports, they can respond to you jumping on them.
Yeah.
One's got this, you know, if you get too close, this really close range silence. Taiga's got a wealth of stuns to be able to throw out. With that Orchid, he can much more aggressively jump the back line and get those kind of kills. They are going to be able to get Boxy here with the Orchid, but immediately the jump in from Taiga with the Mana Void, hitting Firefly as well. The Golem's going to be able to respond with a big Fatal Bonds. Mickey drops quite low as all the damage goes on to Taiga. Sylar's just going to run down Insania here. Turns around for the extra bit of Surge. Insania tries to TP out, knowing he can't escape from the Lifestealer, but Firefly always on the money. It's a great response there from Alliance, well set up to be able to trap the Storm Spirit, but in the end, SIRIUS still proves to be stronger in fights.
Yeah, their team fight is going to be stronger around this time period. It's 22 minutes in. Alliance have to have time to let their lineup get going, and Boxy and Quakefa making this trap right now as Sylar just hits the tower, He's going to go in.
Manage to grab Firefly. He's been so disruptive in these fights. A 3-man Fisher to follow that one up. The raged up Sylar is trying to get damage onto Boxy. It looks like Boxy just can't fly enough fast away. Now Koifa's here, though. Will be able to finish off Firefly. A good wall, though. Managed to lock down and get a lot of illusions. Mickey is going for Angel Eyes. Totally out of mana right now. It's going to take a lot of damage. While inside of the base, they're just trying to control up Sylar. They throw the Soulbind on him just to slow him down. Koifa is staying on top of him with the Inkswell. They try and actually go for the TA, but he quick blink away. He was able to get out from ASD, but ASD commits and dies to Mickey. That cannot be what you wanted out of your long zip in.
He just came back. He zips in, he gets mana voided, and just straight up deleted. And every time you do that, ASD, you're gonna die. I feel your pain, but you gotta learn the lesson after the first time.
He literally got mana voided twice in a row, right?
Yeah.
That was Echo Slam mana void to start the last fight.
The funny thing is, Mickey wanted to use it for the Darkseer because the Darkseer had no mana, but he stopped chasing to go help the rest of his team out. And ASD is like, oh, well, he didn't use it, so I'm good. And uses all his mana, and he pressed the R button, and suddenly he's dead.
I would love it if ASD is just thinking to himself, you know, like, okay, but you can't do that again. No, it's only 77.
What are you gonna do? Mana void me?
If he's not
man
careful,
who got mana voided.
Mickey is going to get to level 25. He can get that cooldown talent. Alliance, you can see that they're like doing relatively well to be able to fight SIRIUS and get some of these fights going. But SIRIUS, in return, are also using Sylar and just keep on fighting. Even after they get like the pickoff and Storm Spirit in mid, they just run down mid still, saying you can kill our Storm, but you can't kill Sylar. We're going to take your tier 2, etc.
That is the benefit right now, is that Sylar is this like, he's just like a movable object. And Darkseer at this phase actually doesn't feel too bad because he's so tanky and wall is sort of annoying for the AM still.
Let's say the hero that's trying to end the game is the unstoppable force.
Oh, this is a really wild smoke by Alliance. Like, they know they're fighting into Warlock.
Okay, they're going to start off with a pick off on this Tiny in July. Does have his vacuum wall ready to go. They're trying to catch Boxy. They managed to get a Soulbind connecting Sylar to the, jump in. They're going to get ASD on top of Boxy. A long-range Fisher was able to slow that down, and a Force Staff gets Boxy back onto the high ground, but he keeps on trying to play that cliff area and just cannot escape. Firefly's looking for the toss over. Toss him over to neutrals. It looks like he didn't think his allies were close enough, but it's still good enough to get the double kill for Sylar.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Alliance decided to take that fight, but I mean, it might be okay as long as they don't continue to lose anything here. As
maybe thinking with that 10-second BKB picked up on the TA, they could surprise SIRIUS. But instead, they lose 1, 2, and now a third. And Taiga.
Yeah, this is surprising that Alliance is doing this, because I don't think it's on them to really do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can just chill. Your anti-mage gets a BKB. Then all of a sudden the Radiance does nothing, and you can suddenly fight.
Yeah. And as a result, them trying to fight, losing it, means that SIRIUS can get a free Roshan.
Now ASD's game could actually maybe be okay if he gets an Aegis.
Yeah.
He wants a BKB so bad. This is the next timing for Storm, is when he gets BKB, then the anti-mage can't do his crazy shenanigans.
You say that. What if he gets a 20-second cooldown mana void? 21 to 18. Net worth pretty much dead even at this point. Alliance is getting closer and closer to their timing where the AM and TA will start taking over the game. But right now, SIRIUS is definitely the strongest force on the map with this Sylar Lifestealer, who's always being ion shelled and surged up with a Radiance and S and Y. Nobody on Alliance really feels comfortable fighting him too much.
What needs to happen is that Mickey needs to cut waves and just make it hard for SIRIUS to ever go for the high ground and force them to like all-in objectives. That's the way that I think you want to play this, as Storm's just going to go all the way back. Anti-Mage now has his BKB. Did TP back for it, as this is his fighting item. This means that even when one of the better ways to deal with the Anti-Mage is the Darkseer wall, he has his own illusion. Now it doesn't mana burn him.
That's a good point. All right, SIRIUS looks like they're going to form up here and go for, I was going to say smoke, but nobody has a smoke.
Oh, they scan, and
Oh, they're actually trying to sneak in a Roshan themselves. Alliance. I mean, I appreciate the aggression that they're taking to it, even if it's not working.
it's Boxy.
Siler just runs on in. Look how fast he is, man.
Now they just made it really easy for SIRIUS to take Roche.
Well, SIRIUS they didn't really want to take Roshan earlier. Now, you can see they just kind of want to take a fight. Stormseer's going to be able to chase down Boxy here, manage to get the Orchid on him. There is the Fissure out, but Firefly immediately gets on top of Taiga, so Siler can go in for that kill while Boxy's still being chased by the Stormseer. Stormseer actually backing up, though, for the Shrine, knowing that he can play a little bit of a longer game. He does not want to just endlessly zip into another Mana Void.
I mean, now they're just going to get a free Aegis for that.
Yep.
And they got a kill. Alliance, they're trying to be... They're trying to do a little bit too much right now, and this is going to be the Aegis Storm. This is the best chance you have now. Aegis Storm, so the Mana Void won't be that big of a deal.
If we could explain this for Alliance, though, that their idea and them trying to take some of these fights and trying to sneak in this Roshan, they've lost like maybe 6 of these in a row, right? But it only takes one for them to actually really get ahead.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the way that their lineup has always functioned is if they win one fight, the game for them just sort of, if Sylar dies in a team fight and the anti-mage doesn't,
Yeah.
kudos to you as ASD trying to farm up his BKB still. Sylar's playing well though, like, all things considered. No deaths, aside from the one that we saw at bottom lane when the Earthshaker jumped him. They had that like combo when they first got the Deso.
Now with the AC coming in pretty soon, he'll be a much better objective taker than he's been so far. TP down to bottom lane. Sylar's just going to run at some heroes. He's going for the 30-minute bounty runes and found Taiga instead. And Taiga cannot stop him. He does manage to get a Fissure and hitting Tianming, but Mickey wasn't able to complete the kill because of the Ghost Scepter. Mickey still collects the bounty runes, though. Alliance will manage to get all 4 there. Insania, maybe the other support picked off, though. Sylar finally finds him. No TP scroll up.
I feel like that's the 8th time I've seen Taiga just run into Sylar, and he's like, oh, well.
Yeah. Do you think that's worth it? All those bounty runes they collected for those 2 support deaths?
What was the...
They got 320 gold for, oh, okay, the Grimstroke. I don't know what the combined was, but...
Radiant structures are fortified.
So 3 minutes on this Aegis they want to take use of this time.
Yeah.
They're going to fort for this top tier 1 tower, but it'll almost certainly just be a trade.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
This game now comes down to how much Mickey can do with the split. As it looks like he is going for the Abyssal, almost level 25.
And that'll be massive. He'll have some further control over the Lifestealer. Obviously, him jumping a Storm or a Darkseer will mean quite a lot.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to hold buyback, though, because he knows they're pretty close to SIRIUS.
Taiga needs a Ghost Scepter really bad. Or Yule's. One of the Scepters.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he's going to go Yule's.
Nice AC pickup, though. And they are going to go for the smoke. They want to take use of this Aegis. And they've signed the line mid. Mickey's got a full Abyssal Blade.
4 men smoked up, running with Sylar through the mid lane. But right now, Alliance are in full split push mode.
Oh.
So and as long as nobody gets caught, the map is in really good position.
I think Insania might just die. Oh no.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, the fact that nothing's happening on the map should let Alliance know that things are going on.
Taiga's kind of positioning himself to be the one to break the smoke for Mickey.
Yeah, they really want to take a fight of any kind on the side of SIRIUS. So going to TP up to top lane.
Good timing for the TPs, but at top lane they will be able to catch Boxy. Pops out with the Lifestealer.
And there was the blink out from Taiga. So going to reset things. Boxy kill is nice, but it looks like the Roshan... I mean, since we saw the bounty runes, like we were having that discussion, the gold lead has grown 2,000 because SIRIUS is going around the map trying to like force the issue. Like we just see that go straight down.
If they get Butterfly next for the AM, It's going to make things incredibly difficult for everyone involved.
Yeah, it makes it really hard for the Storm because your Bloodthorn gets countered by Manta.
Mickey had just TP'd out of bottom lane. All of a sudden, he's here again, pushing out. And SIRIUS having to play that cat and mouse game where they're just trying to chase Alliance heroes around and get a more important pickoff, right? The supports, even the offlaner, that doesn't matter too much. They need the kill on the AEM or the TA to be able to go high ground.
What level, or what 25 talent did he take?
He did take the Mana Void cooldown.
Okay.
So a 20-second Mana Void.
Double damage.
Jump over onto the end. They're going to pop out and try and burst him down. They do manage to get him.
They got him. That was that DD rune from the Storm.
And a massive kill at that is now SIRIUS and ASD will be able to go high ground. Alliance are going to be forced into possibly buying back. Their split pushes now. Oh, Firefly tried to get the toss back onto Taiga, but missed. But the lasso onto ASD. Now he does have an Aegis. They're going to Mana Void the two of them together. SIRIUS a little bit low. The toss over by Firefly is allowing SIRIUS to be able to get away. And Echo Slam immediately onto ASD as he will not be able to escape. A big kill, and he actually got, like, he popped his BKB during that time as well. SIRIUS still trying to get out. Is actually going to turn on to Boxy, knowing he can't really escape any longer. They're going to be able to jump in with Golem. Taiga dropping low and fast. Boxy's also a little bit low as SIRIUS is doing a lot of this AoE damage to them, especially with that wall of Discord. That's why Mickey jumped away from that wall. Doesn't want to be around that area. He'll finish up at least the Tiny. Now will be able to get the Mana Void off on Tianming. Still not enough damage though, and has to blink away. He can't fight SIRIUS, but SIRIUS can certainly hunt him down, being surged up. Alliance do manage to successfully hold there, thanks in part to a long dive in from ASD. Completely ruins his Aegis.
I feel like I've heard that story before.
But it did cost, it did force out Alliance's buyback on Animage, so now this means that one potential pickoff or team fight is the end of the game.
Yes. They put themselves in a good position right now, and I mean, a lot of that comes down to the fact that SIRIUS is unkillable. Like, he just sort of stands there, and Alliance don't have the easiest ways to deal with him right now.
Yeah. And it's hard to say, well, just ignore him and focus on everybody else when this Lifestealer moves so fast with the Surge and SNY build. He's just able to run down heroes. He's not with the rest of his team at bottom right now. And Alliance, I think they'd like to be able to move over with Mickey.
And now you have to protect him. There's that huge window where Mickey dies. You're just going to get thrown, I think. SIRIUS have... At this point, they can hit towers fast. They've got the AC on SIRIUS. He now has a Daedalus, too. You find another DD rune, maybe you get an opportunity to kill him?
I was expecting maybe a preemptive MKB or just the Basher for more control over the AM, but just a raw damage build from SIRIUS.
Dude, SIRIUS build is really cool.
Oh, hasted Arcane Rune Storm Spirit carrying this big boy Lifestealer inside of him. And they do manage to spot Boxy, thanks to the vision. Again, this is not the pickoff that they really want to be able to get in the TA or the Animage, but it's good enough.
Because of this bottom lane push, they might be forced to go back.
Yeah, Koifa, he ignores the... he's just going to go and try and hit the high ground as quick as possible to force SIRIUS back.
Yeah, they're going to try to make this Boxy kill nullified as they're hanging around the area right now. This is such a dangerous play to make because if you go for it and it fails, then the game is just over.
Yeah, especially since it's like they have a lot of catch between Darkseer and Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and it's just the Tiny that you can go for. I mean, they thought about it, but...
Yeah. Dude, the Shrine being up as well, like if the Shrine's still up in that area, how do you retreat easily once you make it go like that?
As he is going to go for the MKB.
Replace that, I guess, the Hand of Midas. God, he still had that item.
I was kind of okay with your suggestion for for the Basher. Now Koifa needs his 25.
It is kind of cool, just the raw damage build, since they can't fight into him anyway.
Yeah.
So the higher his damage output, the faster he's just going to bring down Alliance heroes.
No, it is a very good build. Part of it is because none of the supports really threaten him.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he pops his rage, he just kind of runs in, and Taiga and Insania just have to watch him.
Yeah, and that is a long rage too, as he got the extra 2-second duration, so it's an 8-second built-in BKB for the Lifestealer.
They need this TA to be really scary right now, as Boxy still doesn't have his BKB, and now a DD rune. It's very good timing for this.
Roshan is in that potential spawn point, so SIRIUS. I'm not sure how aggressive they want to get. Obviously, this double damage is a unique opportunity, especially with the Arcane Rune on the Storm Spirit as well.
They will destroy this anti-mage now if they find him.
That's why Mickey is playing off the map right now, only throwing his illusions into lanes. Koifa, he is loath to show himself either. They're just going to wait until somebody shows, even maybe the Grimstroke. I think SIRIUS really have that Roshan timing in mind and just don't really want to screw anything up.
And they're pinging towards top right now. Like, even a long zip.
Yeah.
Any sign of Koifa and you just all in for it, I think. As Koifa's going to go for a Nullifier, which is good, but I think getting a Hex or like a Bloodthorn is better.
Yeah, especially against a Lifestealer. Nullifier doesn't do much for you against him.
Yeah, he's going to pop out. Siler's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. Roshan in 15 seconds.
BKB now picked up by Boxy.
Okay.
And the anti-mage will have buyback in 2 minutes, but does need the gold. Should be able to farm it pretty quick, though.
Boxy's had a rough time dealing with ASD, but this Magic immunity change a lot for him. Especially since they do have that Soulbind combo with the lasso.
And they're looking for the fight right now. Is Mickey still doesn't have buyback, but they're going to go
for it. They immediately jump behind the AM. He's going to grab Insania at first and just go for that support while the jump in from Mickey is trying to finish off the fight position of SIRIUS.
Still
but
alive.
with that Ghost Scepter, he's still alive and he's going to be able to drop the Golem, helping Firefly as well. Mickey's controlled up. He's going to jump for the Storm Sphere. Doesn't actually get him. A beautiful wall of Replica with a vacuum in as well. That pretty much with the Fatal Bonds takes so much damage onto both the Templar Assassin and the Bat Rider. In fact, AM even almost died just purely because of the Fatal Bond damage. What a combo.
And they all went in for this Warlock who just sort of stood there, walked forward with Ghost Sceptered, and dropped down the rock, completely turns things for his team. They used so much to kill this Warlock, and he just didn't even die.
This is what we're talking about when it comes to like SIRIUS. They just can't drop the ball. They haven't lost a team fight.
Yeah, they actually
Alliance has been testing them for like 20 minutes straight, trying to surprise them. Oh, you think we won't fight? Now we actually will. You think we will Roshan? We'll try and sneak it. Every single time SIRIUS has been there and responded correctly.
I still stand by the fact that I think SIRIUS' draft is worse, but I do think they're playing much better.
Yeah.
I think that Alliance keeps taking some really crazy fights, and it's hurting them quite a bit right now. And Sylar is just, his item build, he just kind of runs at you.
And finally, the first tier 3 is going to drop. And that, oh, nice soul bind on the two of them, but an instant Orchid is going to be able to pop the BKB to get the Echo Slam out, but ASD already gotten down his BKB. Mickey's trying to lay out damage onto him. The Storm Seer is going to be able to get away. A toss over. The Earthshaker's not able to get out of here, and Sylar drops so low, but Mickey couldn't finish him off. ASD is a little bit low on mana, but he does have the Aegis still. SIRIUS happy enough with the tier 3. They know how important it is to be able to take Shrine soon after that. Oh. But
they're just going to
go back in because they do have the cheese.
Sylar got quite low there, but Tenwing's Ghost Scepter, or Glimmer Cape, keeping him just healthy enough.
Let me just say, I think Boxy screwed up that fight.
Yeah, I think so too. He waited just a little bit too long, which allowed the Storm then to get BKB off.
Yeah. If he just preemptively BKBs and goes for the lasso and isn't stopped by the great Orchid from ASD, ASD did play that very well.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's always been the story. It's like, Alliance, they have that opportunity, but SIRIUS is just playing better. They're working with the opportunities that they're given, and Alliance, they finally execute their Soulbind combo, and the one time they get the opportunity to use it, something just goes wrong.
Yeah. Somebody chokes. That's what this iteration of Alliance has been known for, is just not being able to close out the games. And in this case, not being able to just win the one fight that would give them a lot more time into late game. Mickey's now in desperation mode where he's trying to split push as much as he can, but they're going to go 2 lanes of barracks down. And Stormseer's going to jump back in onto Boxy. Even if he does have a BKB, he can't stand against the physical damage of Sylar. Now Insania also in trouble with no Glimmer Cape or Force Staff to be able to bail him out. The jump in from the Templar Assassin tries to kill the Stormseer, but the Golem's going to be dropped, and he will be able to survive with his Aegis. Again, he still has that second life. So SIRIUS just going to back up, happy with a couple more kills that they got.
Sure, really happy about this, as Boxy at this point feels like he has no game.
Yeah.
There's no buyback now on this TA2.
They've healed ASD enough that he might be down to jump in again, especially they're going to give him the cheese. He has the Aegis. They're just going to start swinging on a tier 4.
They're just going to go for this.
The tier 2 is still up at bottom, so they can't go for Megas.
I mean, this is the right idea right now.
Yeah.
There's still 3 seconds left. And 10 on this Batrider. You can put Alliance in a real do-or-die position here, but SIRIUS opt to go back instead. They played careful this entire game. Sylar hasn't died in 40 minutes or something.
Yeah. 14, 1, and 11
No,
for
realistically,
Sylar.
it was like
Around the Ghost Scepter. Uh-oh, Boxy's in trouble. He managed to get up his BKB. Also got the lasso with the AM on top of him. But that was going to be a Glimmer Cape save. They needed vision. They will be able to take out the first life of the Storm Spirit. They're going to pop the Shrine as well, so they will be full HP. The toss from Sylar onto Insania. ASD tries to join him, but Insania gets away with that Invis. Look at Taiga. He's been sitting here Invis the entire time. He's going to go for the X-Slam. He couldn't blink. He just tried to run in due to the Radiance, but couldn't actually get the control. He gets the Fissure out, not able to even to finish off Firefly. 2 minutes dead on TA and Mickey. He's going to have to hold against the 5-mana SIRIUS now with a tier 4 already dead. And a second one soon to drop. They're going to give Mickey the Inkswell an opportunity to jump in, get a small stun on 2, but immediately Firefly jumps in with his AoE stun onto Mickey. Mickey barely able to bounce back, but the throne is exposed. Foxy can't save it with the Fireflies. Now he's being pulled in. A basher on ASD, got him with the Mana Void. Sylar's quite low as well, but Mickey needs to be able to jump back, and he can't get there. Immediately buys back. Firefly fully committed, but the throne is dropping. It's at 1,500 HP, and they need to be able to get the bash onto Sylar. Control this carry, make sure he can't finish off the throne, but Mickey doesn't have the help. He doesn't have the damage either. The Ancient's going to explode as Sylar finishes off for his team.